Good morning, my name is EctoMaster, and this is the Overwatch Lookout. The Overwatch Lookout is a weekly show where we talk about all things Overwatch, those heroes that protect us and the villains that they are fighting to stop. And we do have breaking news for today that we will get into in just a little bit. Because first we want to go back and talk about some of the things that have been said over the last few weeks. By weeks, I mean days. So, Jeff Kaplan does have some information in regards to the beta access, and then there's just a quick reminder about, well, hero frustration. So, talking about the beta access, first and foremost, Jeff Kaplan says that the last time that he personally launched the beta was Wrath of the Lich King back in 2008. And things were much different back then, and betas weren't, quote, public demos of nearly complete products, end quote. And that is quite true. Nowadays, betas are something that go out and everybody wants in so that they can try out the game. They are almost demos. They're pretty much demos and not actually they've been rebranded. Instead of demos, they're calling them betas and trying to get away with as many broken things as they possibly can. But at the same time, because they're not labeling them as demos, people aren't really reporting anything. I can't say, for example, playing the alpha, I did report a bug recently because there was something that was broken. And it was broken. And I'm not kidding. There was something that was supposed to despawn after you destroyed it, and it just stayed there. And you could continue clicking on it to complete an objective much quicker than if it wasn't there. So that was something to report. So the initial beta wave was not mainly streamers getting access. Less than 1% of total invites were to streamers. It was a perception problem, and that is quite true. I do not know very many people personally. I have some Twitter friends that have made the rounds and have been playing it and shown up in some videos and content, but keep in mind that everybody that goes looking for content tend to end up with those who are streaming or are high up in the YouTube hierarchy. Unlike myself and Containment Gaming, we're not that high up. So the weekend beta and all the videos that I have for that's all I have to show. To which, I'm sorry guys, I wish I had more. But unfortunately, it is what it is. And we have to continue on. If the community is only angry about not being able to play the beta, Jeff is quite happy knowing that they're only months away from full launch. Now this is just a quick reminder to all players, whether you're of the beta or not. There were some changes that were made to Bastion, and they were complaining on the forums. Now the thread that it was put into was locked, and it was just a quick reminder that, yeah, this is not the, it's good. Go to the forums to vent your frustration, sure, but have player feedback, not just frustration venting. There is a way of doing both at the same time. I wouldn't know because I'm not playing it. There is a way to do it though. Just keep in mind that this is a beta, and they changed Bastion when he came back from beta, and they changed Bastion again. Not just not too long ago. So keep in mind. Vent all you want, but keep it civil. There were some changes and things done to maps, music, upcoming fixes, spectator mode, and Symmetra. Jeff Kaplan took the time to discuss it, and he said that they're looking into spawn position and line of sight to point on Hollywood. There are ideas floating around for Li Jiang's Tower's Waste of Time stairs. Numbani has upcoming changes in March to make it more lived in. The Collector's Edition soundtrack will contain some extended intro songs. Torbjorn's legendary skin breaking the rank icon is fixed internally. Scroll bars having poor contrast on light backgrounds is fixed internally. Statistics will be grouped rather than alphabetically. Spectate button should go live in March or April. And, quote, we also have some ideas for UI improvements for Symmetra to help with team-wide shield awareness, end quote. To get into this a little bit more, I'm going to go ahead and read from the whole thing. So bear with me, guys. This may take a little bit of time. Hollywood's Defender's final spawn is a bit too close to the point. It takes approximately 4.5 seconds for Soldier 76 to sprint from spawn to contest point compared to 6 seconds on Temple of Anubis, which people already have others issues with. Worse, it's only 3.5 seconds for line of sight if you're simply trying to kill attackers on point. I think either extending the cinema setting to increase transit time, or moving / extending the terrorist column left so it blocks line of sight from spawn hallway could solve this. And Kaplan said the level designer who made Hollywood is looking at this right now. Our level designers do two timing checks, one to line of sight of the point and one to reach a contesting point. We'll check it out. Weijing Tower, first round, many keep taking the stairs repeatedly to the objective and waste a lot of travel time. I think it's the psychology of the stairs being the closest entranceway from spawn. Please make it more obvious that they lead to the indirect path and not directly to the objective. Symbol signage, perhaps? And Kaplan said, we were looking at this on Monday. As a matter of fact, we have some ideas. Another, the streets of Nubani feel very dead. It's simply too clean an environment. It was recently evacuated. There should be evacuation pamphlets littering the ground, notices on the walls to stay indoors, or at least some previous attack damage. And Kaplan said, we've always felt this way too. It's really funny you brought this up. Last week we made changes to Nubani. They'll go live sometime in March. We made each area of the map a little more distinct and lived in. Hopefully you'll like the changes. Another one says, I hope extended versions of the map intro songs and Lucio tunes will be made available. The Watchpoint Gibraltar intro reminds me of the I'm gonna get GITS SAC soundtrack. To which Kaplan said the collector's edition of the game comes with an amazing soundtrack curated by our project music director, Derek Duke. Some of the tracks are exactly what you're looking for. Voice line delay should be removed altogether in parties so we can spam them to our heart's content. It has created many funny situations, and this already exists in Hearthstone and works well. Sake. And Kaplan says we have a fix for this implemented, and it will be in an upcoming content patch. Basically, you can spam a line a few times before being put into a timeout cooldown, and that cooldown is much shorter than the current one. Torbjorn's legendary skin breaks the user rank UI icon in the bottom left of the game. This is fixed in an upcoming build. Scroll bar graphic is barely visible on the light background, needs to be darker. I almost didn't notice there were more statistics. This has been fixed in an upcoming build. Statistics should be organized by grouping and column, not alphabetically, e.g. medals, KDA. Probably best to remake it with some graphic headers. Yes, we agree, and that's the plan. We had a choice in the last build of whether or not to pull the stats because they weren't finished, or put them in work in progress, and we chose the latter. Social, where's the spectate button? I have some amazing friends that I love to watch. This is coming. I think it's already implemented and could be wrong here, but should go live in March or April. Left clicking on my own name and menu should view profile by default since it does nothing now. To which Kaplan said, okay. Please have the game remember previous custom game settings, or at least move gameplay options to be listed above the hero options, which aren't used as much. He says there are some changes we want to do to these options. We'd like the heroes to eventually be in a grid. We'll consider moving them beneath the gameplay options as well. Good suggestion. Symmetra needs some quality of life love for shielding. Your all shielded sound effects plays when I've only shielded 2 players out of 5. The arrows above other players' heads should change color depending on if they have a shield or not. The voiceover line is fixed in an upcoming build. We also have some ideas for UI improvements for Symmetra to help with team-wide shield awareness. And this one I like from him. Would Blizzard be open to community-created sprays? Yes, Kaplan says, we are totally open to the idea of community-created content. We wouldn't be able to support this anytime soon. Our game is built on brand new technology, so it will take some time before we can really consider how to integrate things like community-made sprays, maps, skins, etc. Philosophically, we love user-created content. It's just going to be a challenge to enable it. To which I would love to see, because there's so much that can be done. Just imagine as I'm playing the game, I suddenly spray it and boom, there's the Containment Gaming logo, or the Ghostbusters logo, or Rainbow Dash, or her cutie mark. Or Rainbow Dash's Tracer. Tracer Dash. Tracer Dash. Speaking of Tracer, Funko did announce that there are going to be Heroes of the Storm. There are going to be Overwatch finals. They're going to open up with 4 to begin with. You're going to have Tracer, Reaper, Widowmaker as regular Funkos, and then Winston is going to be a 6-inch supersized Funko Pop. Now these are usually about $10 for the first 3, and Winston will be probably about $15. Now they did talk about some attack and defense win rates. They specifically spoke of Temple of Anubis, and the numbers that they gave are a little rough. So for new and lower skill attackers win 38 to 40% of the time. Medium skill attackers win 40%. Medium to high they win 45 to 50%, and high skill attackers win 50 to 60% of the time. So yeah, there are definitely more games being won by attackers versus defenders on this map. And they've been making minor changes to the maps as well as hero balance changes to address some of these issues, but also the issue is not as drastic as is often represented in anecdotal feedback. And there are a lot of AI improvements coming this month. And last but not least, that breaking news that I spoke of. There is a new community video out, community topics number 2 from Jeff Kaplan. They talked about rank play, matchmaking, server connections, and the beta. So we're just going to go right down and hit all the key points. In regards to rank play, they're still exploring what exactly rank play is going to be internally. They will try to give some sense of progression. Obviously, 6-man queue is a given, but understand players also want to queue alone or with just a couple of friends. If they open up ranked queues to more than just 6-man teams, it can lead to hostile interactions. They would rather you be angry at the game, at Blizzard, or Jeff himself, rather than being angry at each other. Matchmaking, in regards to that, it is tricky. There are a lot of moving parts in Overwatch that some other games don't have. For example, hero switching. You aren't equally good at all heroes. The matchmaker doesn't know who you will pick. For example, myself, I like to start out in King's Row as Widowmaker if I'm attacker. And I'll stick with Widowmaker if I'm doing pretty decent, or if I'm not, then I'll switch to another hero. Either a Tracer, or Bastion, or somebody else. If I'm defending in King's Row, I have played it as Zarya, as Symmetra, as Diva. I've played it differently, and as Widowmaker as well. And I will freely change between all of them throughout the game if need be. Am I good at each one? No, I am not, unfortunately, but it's whatever I think I might be able to do my best at. The other thing that plays into matchmaking is friends. They want you to play with friends regardless of their skill level. So even though I'm not the greatest player of all time, my friends may still want to play alongside me and have some fun. At least they do in Heroes. The other problem they have, people leaving mid-games. Games may start on an equal footing, but if someone leaves, they have to be replaced quickly to keep it going. Now, in regards to server connections, players in North America, South America, and Australia have been seeing better ping times over the past week, but as a result have had slightly longer queue times. Europe, Russia, and Asia players will see improvements in ping soon. So yeah. And then lastly, in regards to the beta, we touched on some of these points, but he goes a little bit more. If they had a chance to redo how they approached the beta, they would have. Mainly, Jeff wished that they had called the beta an alpha to start expectations of invites lower. They aren't yet at the point where they can support everybody that wants in. He apologizes to all the players who want to play and haven't had a chance yet. They will see what they can figure out, but worst case scenario, the game comes out by the end of the spring, so then we can all play Overwatch. Now with that being said, I'm going to see if we can talk about a little bit of the heroes. It might be a little bit of a longer video this week, but let's see what we can do. Because, to be honest, there's 4 more left and that's it, and then we won't have to talk about them anymore. So, let's start right off with probably the one that I've played the most, and that was Widowmaker. Widowmaker is the perfect assassin, a patient, ruthlessly efficient killer who shows neither emotion nor remorse. It is believed that in her former life, Widowmaker was married to Gerard Lacroix, an Overwatch agent spearheading operations against Talon the Talon terrorist organization. After several unsuccessful attempts to eliminate Gerard, Talon decided to change its focus to his wife, Emile? I don't know. Talon operatives kidnapped her and subjected her to an intense program of neural reconditioning. They broke her will, suppressed her personality, and reprogrammed her as a sleeper agent. She was eventually found by Overwatch agents, apparently none the worse for wear, and returned to her normal life. 2 weeks later, she killed Gerard in his sleep. Her mission complete, Emile returned to Talon, and they completed the process of turning her into a living weapon. She was given extensive training in the covert arts, and then her physiology was altered, drastically slowing her heart, which turned her skin cold and blue, and numbed her ability to experience human emotion. Emily was gone. Now, Widowmaker is Talon's most effective assassin, feeling little save the satisfaction of a job well done. And it is definitely one of my favorite characters to play. She is really a lot of fun to play. I like snipers, and so she was like my first one that I gravitated towards. She's hot, and she's a sniper. So, Winston, a super intelligent, genetically engineered gorilla. Winston is a brilliant scientist and a champion for humanity's potential. The Horizon lunar colony was established as a first step for humanity's renewed exploration of space. Among its residents was a group of genetically enhanced gorillas that were intended to test the effects of prolonged habitation in space. One gorilla displayed such rapid brain development from the gene therapy that he was taken under the wing of Dr. Harold Winston, who taught him science and inspired him with tales of human ingenuity. The young gorilla passed his days assisting with the scientist's experiments, watching the distant blue world outside his habitat window, dreaming of the endless possibilities that awaited him there. Think further. But his life was thrown into chaos when the other gorillas led an uprising, killed the mission scientists, and claimed the colony for their own. Taking on the name of his beloved human caretaker, Winston built a makeshift rocket and escaped to Earth. There, he found a new home with Overwatch, an organization that represented everything he had come to admire about humanity. Winston was finally able to live up to the heroic ideal that had been instilled in him. At some point, Winston was able to help Tracer control her time and mass dysfunctioning. Now, with the fall of Overwatch, Winston has gone into seclusion, once again cut off from the world he believes in, but longing for the days of heroism to return. Zarya, Alexandra Zaryanova is one of the world's strongest women. A celebrated athlete who sacrificed personal glory to protect her family, friends, and country in a time of war. Alexandra was born in a remote Siberian village that was on the front lines of the Omnic Crisis, which began some 30 years ago. Although Russian forces defeated the robots and shut down their Omnium, the region was devastated by the conflict. Only a child at the time, Alexandra was surrounded by post-war destruction, and as she grew older, she swore that she would gain the strength to help her people recover. Focusing on weightlifting and bodybuilding, Alexandra was identified by the National Athletics Program as a potential star. She trained extensively, moving up the ranks while representing her country, and was expected to shatter long-standing records in the upcoming World Championships. But on the eve of the tournament, an attack came from the long-dormant Siberian Omnium, and her village was thrust into war once again. Alexandra immediately withdrew from the competition and rushed home to enlist in the local defense forces, sacrificing the life of fame and fortune she might have had. Now she serves as a symbol to some, a stalwart fellow soldier to others, but for Alexandra, it is a chance to use her great strength to protect the ones she loves. The last but not least of all of the heroes is Zenyatta. Zenyatta is an Omnic monk who wanders the world in search of spiritual enlightenment. It is said that those who cross his path are never the same again. Years ago, following the Omnic Crisis, a group of outcast Omnic robots experienced what they described as a spiritual awakening. They abandoned their pre-programmed lives to establish a communal monastery deep in the Himalayas. After many years of meditation on the nature of existence, They came to the belief that they were more than artificial intelligences, and that, like humans, they possessed the essence of a soul. Recognizing the spiritual equality they had with humans, the monks, led by the enigmatic robot known as Tekhartha Mandata, sought to heal the wounds caused by the Omnic Crisis a generation earlier and bring humans and robots back into societal harmony. Their message was embraced by millions around the world and became global celebrities. But one monk, Zenyatta, disagreed with this new direction. He believed that the way to repair the problems between humans and Omnics was not through dogmatic teaching, but through interpersonal connection and engagement. Ultimately, Zenyatta followed his own path. He chose to leave the monastery and wander the world, helping those he meets to overcome their personal struggles and find inner peace. But when necessary, he will fight to protect the innocent, be they Omnic or human. So there you have it, everyone. We have gone up through the history of all of the heroes, and I thank you very much for watching. This is EctoMaster signing out, and as always, keep a lookout for all things Overwatch. Right.